Welcome to Crisis in Perception, where we examine the systems shaping our world one book at a time.
Let me ask you a question. Do you see the world as it really is? It seems simple, right? But the answer is way more complicated than you'd think. Most of us just assume our eyes are like little video cameras, passively recording reality. But the book Perception by Proffitt and Baer makes a powerful case that this idea is just not how it works. What we see isn't the world as it is, but the world as it is for us.
Okay, check out this classic illusion. Now, you and I both know those two orange circles in the middle are exactly the same size. But your eyes, what the authors call your knowing system, are totally fooled. They look different, period. But here's the kicker. If I asked you to reach out and pick one up, your hand, your action system, would open to the perfect size. So what does this tell us? It tells us that our perception isn't built for perfect geometric accuracy. It's built to help us act in the world. So if perception isn't a camera, then what is it? Well, the book's central metaphor is that it's way more like your body's thermostat, a system designed for one thing, managing your energy. Think about it this way. That old video camera idea? It's passive. It just sits there and records. But a thermostat is active. It's constantly taking readings from your body, how much energy you have, what you're capable of, even how you're feeling. And it literally adjusts your perception of the world to help you act in the most energy-efficient way.
And this is the core system we're talking about. It's called embodied perception, and its number one incentive, its prime directive, is survival. And in biological terms, that means managing your energy budget really smartly. So before you do anything, this system is running in the background, constantly asking one crucial question. What is this going to cost me? And the answer it comes up with literally changes what you see.
So what does this actually look like in the real world? How does this calibration play out? Well, our perception is pulling in data from all over, way more than just what our eyes see, and honestly, the outcomes are pretty startling. This experiment illustrates it perfectly. Imagine you're standing at the bottom of a hill. The physical hill doesn't change, right? It is what it is. But how you see it changes dramatically. If you're tired or you're wearing a heavy backpack, the energy cost to climb is high, so that hill looks way steeper. Get this, if you're just listening to sad music, your brain interprets that emotional weight as a physical burden, and again, the hill looks more daunting. But if you're standing there with a friend, your brain registers a shared energy reserve, social support, and that exact same hill suddenly looks less steep. Your reality is being calibrated in real time by your body. So if our bodies are so fundamental to how we experience absolutely everything, why do we so often think of our minds as these disembodied computers, just kind of floating around, separate from our physical selves?
Well, the book argues there are a few big reasons this old model persists. First, we've inherited these old philosophical habits, like Descartes' idea that the mind and body are two totally separate things. Then, our own scientific fields often operate in silos. Psychology studies the mind, biology studies the body, and they don't always talk. And finally, we have these powerful technological metaphors, like thinking of the brain as a computer, which reinforces this idea of the mind as just abstract software running on fleshy hardware.
And this quote from the book just nails it. They write, "We talk about having bodies, but rarely being bodies. In this conception, the body is a vehicle that carries the mind about. It's baked right into our language. We think of ourselves as a mind that has a body, not as a single integrated being."
Okay, and this is where the whole idea really scales up, connecting our own personal, internal perception to how we see the much larger systems out there in the world. So here's the real analytical takeaway. This habit of separating our own mind from our body, of failing to see our own internal connections, it doesn't just stay inside our heads. It becomes the very lens through which we view the world. We end up seeing complex, interconnected systems, like the economy or the environment or society, as a bunch of separate, fragmented pieces. And that creates a broader crisis in perception. Which leaves us with a final, pretty provocative thought. If we can't even see the deep fundamental connections within our own selves, how can we ever expect to see and understand the complex structural connections that truly shape our world?
This project is free and publicly accessible. If you'd like to support the time, tools, and research behind Crisis in Perception, you can become a supporter on Patreon. For a longer audio-based analysis of this topic, see the deep dive linked in the description. If you enjoy this kind of systems-level analysis, please like, subscribe, and comment with books or topics you'd like us to explore next.